I believe there's one art gallery that has one of those funny signs that says, sometimes we're here by 10, maybe noon, we may close at 3, gone by 4, you know, just cute. But
are you getting any negative feedback from the visitors when they come in, or frustrations?
Yes. Yes. The Big Bend Museum is closed on Mondays, and I know why a lot of the businesses are closed, because they're open Saturdays. And in order for them to get a 2-day weekend, they have to be closed Sunday and Monday. Because a lot of our tourists are here Thursday through Monday. That is when we get the most traffic. So for a lot of the businesses to not be open on Monday, hindrance on keeping them in the town for that day, because they would much rather, well, let's just go ahead and go to Big Bend. There's nothing to do here.
Interesting, because when we look back at the output from ETSA, I mean, certainly the biggest driver of commerce in our community is tourism.
Right.
And to your point, I mean, tourists are Thursday to Monday, not Tuesday to Friday.
Right. And the other thing is our communication with the businesses, because they are family owned, which kind of makes this town, and what I love about it is that if they own their own business and a child gets sick or there's an emergency, they shut the place down. And so visitors come to the visitor center and I say, oh, you've got to try this restaurant, it's great. There's a sign on the door. We don't know that. And so there's got to be something that can be done to have either better communication or to express to the businesses how important it would be for them to be open on Monday so that the tourists have somewhere to go. The hours of businesses is also something that we've had some issues with. The tourists, depending on when they come, in the mornings it's not too bad because a lot of the places will stay open until 2 p.m. A lot of the restaurants do close from 2 to 5, so that's a 3-hour gap that they don't really have anything to do. If they haven't had lunch yet, they'll have to wait or go to, you know, Sonic or one of the places that's open. And so we did, I can't say we, Bianca, she made a huge spreadsheet of every single business, when they were open, what days, and it is all over the place. There is no rhyme or reason to it. Nobody follows the same schedule. And that's very difficult for our job to explain to someone, well, you can go here, but I know you really wanted to go here, but they're not open today. And, you know, obviously we do our job and they leave with a smile. We joke with them to be their own photographer for a day and, you know, see the world through the lens. And, you know, we try to give them things to do, but it has become very difficult. And I've seen it more and more, especially in this last couple of months, that, you know, the tourists are getting upset that we had one lady come in and she said, there's absolutely nothing to do here. She said, Alpine is one big hype because we have a lot to offer and tourists, but how many people does that tourist know that she's going to say, don't go because there's nothing to do? And so it's my job, and I think the community's job, to really step up and try to help these tourists realize how great we are and why we chose to live here and why they chose to visit.
What day of the week was that? Was that on a Monday?
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was yesterday. And it's, I don't want to say that it's bad every day. When I first started, I told everybody I had the best job in the world because nobody was mad. They came in, they were on vacation, and they had nothing to gripe about. The more that I have become aware of and things that it has to offer, I understand some of their frustration. If I were to schedule a trip to a tourist town and everything was closed on a Monday while I was touring the town, I would be upset too. Holiday schedules, I've been approached by several people to ask the businesses to be open during the holiday. I have not been here during a holiday season. I did not live in this area. Last year I lived in Fort Davis. So I guess it was kind of the area, but we didn't come over here much. But I have a hard time as a Chamber of Commerce Executive Director telling businesses how to run their business. That's not why I'm here. And honestly, it's out of place. It's not where I excel. We need to figure out something that can happen during the holidays so that people want to bring their family here. I understand that a lot of people do travel for the holidays, but for those of us who reside in Alpine, bringing our family, we can offer them. A lot of the restaurants are closed Wednesday through Saturday during Thanksgiving. Some of the grocery stores are closed, I believe. One thing that my assistant tourism counselor, I was speaking with her about it today, she thought about offering information packets that we put together for people who come in and filling it with the things to see and do, and making a list of things that will be open, and just putting it out in the public that if they need those packets, they're more than welcome to come by before Thanksgiving so that they have that already. And that way we don't have to be open as well on Thanksgiving Day. So just some ideas. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about was we get a lot of requests for gift shop items. We do have the I Heart Alpine t-shirts, we have the koozies, glasses and bumper stickers, but I think that they are looking for more of a gift shop setting. You know, they don't think visitor center, oh, they'll have stuff. It just happens to be if they come in asking where the gift shop is, we say, well, we have these items. So I would really like to see possibly, you know, maybe one of the businesses would be interested in housing all of the Alpine items. I don't know, that's another thing that you know, I welcome any ideas or feedback on that, but I do think it's important for us to have Alpine pride, not only with the ISD and with Sol Ross, but just it is expensive to get stocked up on stuff, and that's why we've kind of been trying to purchase, you know, and then turn around and hopefully make a profit off of it. But if we items for them to purchase, it's not going to go anywhere. And so we do send a lot of people to Ivy's Emporium. I believe they have some things, and then for maps, if they're wanting a larger map, we send them the Front Street books. And, you know, so we are using the community to help us out in that area, but I would like to see an actual gift shop to where, and if y'all have been into the visitor center lately, it's kind of packed in there because it's a big room, but not a lot of wall space. And so, things that we're trying to do. So anyway, that's my report this time.
Is it worthwhile to contemplate integration of gift shop into the visitor center itself? So then you take some of this key branded Alpine merchandise, and not only do you sell it locally, but then you start hitting Amazon and eBay, and then over time, you know, in 6 to 9 months, you develop an inventory by reinvesting in stock. Certainly then that's 24/7.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah, my only concern is space. We have 4 brochure racks. We have a business desk in the middle that has all of the local businesses and their cards and menus and things like that. And you know, and then on top of our t-shirts, we offer to display the Big Bend Artist of the Month out of the Arts Council. So each month we have a new painting or whatever the artist has done. Plus we have 2 desks and in there. So it's a tight squeeze. And then we have the conference room that is used for a lot of different meetings, not just by the Chamber Council.
I agree that we do need to build a relationship with Digby National Park so that they are familiar with the area. You know, that will minimize people getting lost up there and having to look along. On Sundays and Monday, there's nowhere to eat. You get out of church, there's nowhere to go on the Tuesday. It's a Dairy Queen. You know, I go to Odessa, Midland, and nothing's closed on Saturdays and Sundays. Anywhere where anybody gets 2-day weekend, right? You know, unless you work in an office. But for us to be productive, we need to have places to eat. We need to be up and running. You know, scatter your staff to where they can be off on Tuesday and Wednesday or Thursday and Friday. You know, so that we can be open 7 days a week. That would help us a lot.
You know, I sometimes wonder if some of the food cart, you know, one of these new vendors would really pick up on this and say, hey, I'm gonna do mass production of food on Sunday, Monday, really try to capture that stranded market there. You know, so something that's not heavy preparation. Like I love Thaiway, they're great, but it takes a while to produce the food. Yeah, so you have something, and so as a new food cart owner, you think of the one next to the CrossFit Sonic, or you know, something like that. Maybe they would contemplate something easier, soup sandwich type thing.
Well, and I'd be more than willing to create, you know, a spreadsheet showing this is how many visitors we had on Thursday through Monday, and this is how many we had Tuesday through Wednesday, you know, and so that they could see. Sometimes, you know, the graphics help if they see, okay, there was only 100 people Wednesday or Tuesday and Wednesday, and there was 500 in between Thursday and Monday. Maybe that would be boost, you know, for them to make that decision.
Right.
I'm one that has lunch at 4 o'clock in the afternoon sometimes, and I don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, a lot of places are closed 2 to 5.
Right.
The library has just recently, I guess in December or January, they're going to start being open until 9 o'clock at night. So they can accommodate everyone who gets out at 9 to be able to give them more hours to be able to have access to the facility. And maybe we need to look at something like that as well. Get longer hours. You know, pizza Hut at 9:30 and they're closed. Right? You can't get in because they're already shutting down.
Yeah, well, and I know with practices, yeah, I know with people with children practices and things like that, I mean, there's a lot of times you don't even pick your child up until 8 o'clock. And then you take them to Sonic for them to eat fried food and send them to bed. You know, it's not ideal for a lot of people. You know, and I don't want y'all to think for a second that I don't love this town or that I don't have the heart in it. And that's why I decided to take the next step and say, these are some things that I think need to happen in order for us to succeed.
Well, I think it's obvious from your report that you're doing a heck of a job.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anything else?
That is all I have.
Excuse me, thanks very much.
Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
Mike, you're up. Okay.
Y'all have the complete report that I sent to everybody. Okay, I have the highlights of the third quarter 2016, July, August, and September 2016. The total number of calls that we had for the quarter were 177. It was 31 more calls than the last quarter when we had 146. This kind of incorporated where toward the end of the summer and the beginning of the fall, we start having more calls. We anticipate that there'll be an increase of course, more calls with the fall months, the winter coming up, with depending on how the weather is, if it gets cold fast or not. The increase in the calls, they were generally even across the board for within the city limits, out of the city limits, and then our no transports. The out of city limit, no transports and American calls were pretty close to the same number. Our monthly breakdown on the payer types were about the same, with the majority being Medicare patients, which were 63 or 49% of the total calls, and in second place with the private insurance at about 23% of the calls.
How's the billing working on that for you?
Well, since we starting October 24, the new ICD-10 is mandatory. That came down from the from Medicare, and there's been a year-long grace period to use the old system, which was a lot easier. And the new ICD-10, when they made it, it's now turned into it's more specific on the diagnosis codes, and they did this to prevent Medicare fraud. And they've now made it where they have listings that say what you can't even bill for, just right off the bat, depending on what the diagnosis is. We have to tell the Medicare patient we cannot bill this to Medicare. So it's become more specific, and when it starts mandatorily, then we'll see. I'll probably have an idea at the next quarterly meeting how that's going, but that's still unfortunately the downside being that Medicare is our majority of our billing, and if it gets worse, then obviously that's going to be a downside for us.
Well, I also think, certainly Cindy's role in the hospital district and Diane Ward, as I've talked to her recently, she certainly wants to help out as well.
Sure.
So let's make sure we keep
Sure, sure.
I
You're welcome.
will reach out to Mike and ask him if there was anything you could help me with.
Yeah.
Now, with that being mandatory come October 24th, are they going to download those ICD codes for you, or will you have to manually input?
Yeah, we have the, Mark already has the download from the Center for the Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. And it went from, I mean, just a few years ago where you had thousands of diagnosis codes, it's now up to 16,000. And one of the things now goes into five different subdivisions. So that's where we do have all of that. And he's literally working, I mean, day in, day out, trying to get all that coordinated and ready to go into operation. So we're trying to finish everything that we have, you know, for current time until then, get that. So it's a 24/7 kind of thing, trying to get that done. But we'll just have to see how it works. And I know there's going to be glitches just like everything else when they institute it. And we get emails daily from the center, and it seems like it's the I guess the sample part that they put out that you could try if you want to. It's been going up and down, up and down. It's been on and offline. So
Will they send anyone out to train you on this?
most of it is self-study. They do send a self-study guide every year, or more than once a year. They do have conferences. Usually, our closest one is in Dallas, and we're hoping to be able to send Mark to that when once it's been instituted and it's permanent to go.
They ask to see if we can Skype and something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, anything we can do to try to not have to go there and still get the information would be our priority. If it's going to be one of those things that we have to do to keep up with it, then we'll send.
Again, you know, you could probably visit with Diane at the hospital, and she might be able to work together with those codes.
Sure.
And see if billing can get a lot easier for you.
Right. Okay. Sure.
I don't know. I'm just
Well, and that's what we do. You know, we get our data from the hospital, and a lot of it, when we have a patient that we try to contact and we can't get the information for, then they have the passport system, and you know, they've been very good about looking that information up because it's an expensive program just to get into separately. So them allowing us to get that information, it's been godsend for us to help us out. So it's, you know, they've always been really good about it, and we'll train on our data to get the information on patients, and usually within a day or two, unless they've got people that are out or they're, you know, out on some other meeting, we get that information pretty fast.
Does Medicare still have a deadline for you to file those claims?
Yes, there's it's 1 year. Yeah, it used to be, it was some odd, it was like a year and 3 months or something like that. And even after the billing time, if it gets denied, then we have like a 180-day window to refile with additional information. And that's one of the things I think, I don't know if it was the last time I talked about it, we had a whole slew of Medicare that was sent in, and they had instituted part of the ICD-10, and everything was denied right off the bat because they wanted that subcategory. So we had to go back and get research information on that to get the subcategory, which is going to make it harder because some of the information with HIPAA and everything else, we don't have it right off the bat. So then we'll have to go back and get the exact diagnosis so we can input it into the Medicare with the new ICD-10 and see how that works. So in the next 3 months, I'll have a report on that at the next meeting. At the next quarter. Sure, yeah, and we've never had trouble getting that information. I mean, they're you know, easy to go on. The only trouble we have is once we're outside of the Alpine area, if somebody was transferred and we need that information, the outside hospitals, they will tell you nothing. So. And
just keep in mind, our ER doctors are contracted. They rotate out every 72 hours.
Oh, do they? On 17? Okay.
So, you know, it'll take you weeks to get.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Yeah. So we do.
Just, you know,
I mean, we have a good, you know, relationship getting that information, all that. But that's one of the downfalls in the rural area. Once some of these people that leave, you know, we're without that information, without doing some serious research.
The first rule of the bureaucracy is to maintain the bureaucracy.
That's it. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see. Our air transports were up this quarter. from 24 last quarter to 37. I think a lot of that is because the not having a ground ambulance here to transport, even though the hospital still calls in for ambulances come get patients that aren't required to go by air. The residency status on air transfers, the city and county patients were 15 or about 41% of the transports, and out of area were 22 or about 59% of the transports. Let's see. After the approval of the EMS agreement at the September 20th meeting, we're about done with the getting the written agreement completed. I took the information to make it up to date with the Texas Department of State Health Standard words, so that everything is legal in there. So we're about done with that. I'll get back to Eric. We're also earlier last month I talked to the county judge, and everything's in line with the agreement with them. They're gonna the same agreement that we have just in the county's term and with what their amount is, and then the meeting with the hospital district.
This Thursday. Yeah. And you're on the agenda.
This Thursday. Okay.
Yes, unfortunately, the meeting's in Presidio.
Oh, okay.
So I turned in the report that you sent to Eric.
Okay.
And got, and Eric itemized in detail what needed to happen. It's in our packet and it's up for an action item.
Okay, great. And with all of this, if everything works out on that aspect, then we're looking at hiring 2 new personnel November. Great. So that'll we really need that.
You need some rest.
Yep. I do. Let's see. We've been standing by for the Alpine football games, the Soros football games. Everything's gone well on those. We're looking at planning an open house with the fire department, our EMS, and with Native Air, hopefully in November. I talked to Roy Bennett with Native Air last Friday, and he's all for doing it. We just have to kind of get a date that they're available, and we're pretty much available anytime, so we're kind of waiting to see what his schedule is.
Can you try and reschedule that for the weekend of ARPA?
That's what we were talking about. That is the, yeah, and that's what we're aiming at. I'm kind of waiting to see what Roy's doing. I know at the end of this month and some of next month, he's going to district meetings and area meetings and even out of state meetings up in Denver for Native Air. So, because we really want him there, and they said they're going to go buy hot dogs and everything, and they would also promote their memberships and everything, whatever information anybody wanted to know about their service. So we're hoping to have a big event if everything works out that weekend. But we're working diligently to find something, somewhere or another that all 3 of our organizations can showcase for everybody to come out and see us. Sure. And that's about it. We're here if anybody needs anything or any questions.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Good luck in your ICD control.
Great. Thank you. We'll try. Appreciate it.
Okay, Mr. Zimmer, the next on the agenda is discuss the expectations of the candidate pool for interviews for the city secretary. Of course, that's assuming we're going to allow Molly to leave. Right. There is a huge campaign, Molly. Hold on to you, but we're going to pay no miserably. So.
Yeah, we offered up that one counselor would take her out 1 day a week.
There we go.
Have lunch. Yep. She would stay.
On Monday.
So, certainly after last meeting, we put the notice out, and we started to certainly receive interest from candidates. Wanted to kind of accomplish a couple things this evening. Number one, really hear from Molly and her thoughts on the role, what council should consider, and then really kind of also dig into that in sense of if there's any feedback from counselors on your expectations from the city secretary, moving forward, and then certainly set some time up. We target the November 1st meeting, which is in 2 weeks from now, to invite in for interview. We do, from a timing perspective, we have to think about, Molly is going to work through December, though December will be sparingly. She'll be using quite a bit of vacation. We only have the one council meeting in December. I certainly would appreciate having someone in the place prior to that December 6th meeting, because they need to see how Molly works on putting together the agenda pieces, and then also kind of in action during the meeting. So,
sooner we can start on this, the better.
Yeah.
And, we've only got 3 meetings.
So you're
Right.
resigning December of 2020, right? So it's got here to be able to train people on it.
I suggest you contact your ass department, see if we can clone her.
Yeah.
Is there an ICD-10 coach in that?
I'll look into that.
So maybe let's kind of kick off from Molly, some of her wisdom on points of success and how she's handled and really digested the role and working on behalf of the city.
Well.
On the spot, right?
Yes. I think, one of the key things is, of course, working with everybody. Getting along, trying to get along with everybody, including the public. Doing your best to get along with the public is very important. And the council. And I've been lucky in that. I've managed to get along very well. You need somebody with a good, steady disposition. Not saying I'm always that way, but it helps. Of course, I've retired from 3 counties and had experience in doing elections and records management. Been a county district clerk for 14 years, so I've had a lot of government experience. And I was fortunate in that because I could pull it all together for the city. And I think that, maybe another city secretary out there, if you could find one that wanted to relocate. Or, and I've told Eric I'll be willing to drive back and forth. It won't be that bad, for some days if y'all need me to help with elections, get them started, line them out, and help with any records management. We've got a good girl working in the records management department now. She's very organized, thorough. She's doing a good job. But I think there's lots of people out there that are smarter than I am, more techie than I am, that are going to be more up on that. But the main thing is the right demeanor and not afraid to put in the time and just don't quit. It's job. So I think you'll know the candidate when you see him, hopefully. And as I say, I'll be glad to help him in any way. They can call me on the phone, come here for willing to do that. Because I want y'all to keep going, strong like you are right now. I think we're in a good position. And I want that to keep going. So she probably had someone hired to attend open government next week. We've gone through a public commission.
So one of the challenges, Molly, is going to be, as you said, someone with the right background and requisite skills, and that you gain through experience. They're just saying, finding someone who's got great people skills would be wonderful, but they've got to understand records management, record keeping, elections, and all those items. 2 questions. Is there an organization, excuse me, of city secretaries that, because you're right, one first thing you said was, we'll find another one to recruit here. Is there an organization like that exists?
There is one. You can be certified as a city secretary. It may help them in all those areas. The only thing is it will take them some time.
No, I'm saying to go coach. I'm gonna go find one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
go find a city secretary, and that's why I say it's an organization that exists, where you go grab one and reach out.
I don't know if I let you grab one or not.
No, but do the advertising within that organization to say, we have an opening.
Well,
We're looking for-
TML,
So TML is the place to go.
right,
Okay, so-
TML is, and we've already posted on.
Okay.
We have had an application or from another city.
Okay, good.
One, so, I don't know if we had one.
Okay.
How was that?
Second question is, you know your job better than any of us ever will. Okay, and so will you be part of the process to help us identify new interviews?
Yes, I mean, that's okay.
Okay, good.
I think it's definitely a great idea. Go out and steal somebody. I mean, we're not gonna be able to train anybody to replace someone of her quality in 2.5 months. You know, we need somebody who's been there, done that. Want that t-shirt, you know?
You're gonna help them. I think the officers need.
We'll all be involved in that.
No, I think it's very important that we find someone that is going to be able to get in long hours with dedication and be able to get along with the council, with the staff, with the citizens. It's hard to work. We are awful. You know, it's hard.
And, you know, I drive around town a lot, and every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, you see 2 white vehicles out there, Molly's and Megan's.
Right.
I mean, it's incredible the amount of time these ladies put in. The average bear ain't gonna do that.
Is there something that you would recommend that you're currently doing that you shouldn't, or the replacement shouldn't do going forward? Or is there something you're not doing that you think we need to do more of?
Well, we discussed the minutes, which in the past, you know, have been very, very, very complete. But because that was the request at the time when I was hired. But I've tried to cut them back a little bit, just make them more streamlined. The last couple of sets of minutes have been shorter. So you have to do almost verbatim because it's required. You know. There's one set of minutes where we had an engineering team that required verbatim, like a court reporter, every word. So they were like 100 pages long. But most of the time, you can just do the motion the second, you know, a little bit of the discussion, briefly touch on it. Sometimes you're better off that way in a court of law anyway, if you don't have too much in there. Plus, we record it, you know, on the DVD, and so we've got that back up. And my notes. So you got that.
Let me ask council, what's our opinion about the level of detail in the minutes? You think they're about right?
I think that we probably could minimize it a lot, because we do have the backup. The videos and recorders that if we need to go back to, we can.
If you guys have the videos or recorders, I can see where we need the detail. But I mean, you know, when you get a minutes from one of these meetings and it's 8-10 pages long, this one was put in a few minutes to put that together. You know, and when you've got the stuff anyway, you know, welcome to 2016. You know, you've got the electronic backup.
Well, you'll notice the last couple of sets have been less.
On some of the applications that have come in or resumes that have come in, it's certainly interesting. There are some folks that see city secretary and they think of secretary in the archaic or old terminology. They think it's answering phones. And I've kind of been looking at it. Molly and I have talked about it as people are submitting. If they can't write a cover letter, it's easy to call because certainly this person has to have good writing skills, and without him, we all of us. So that's
All of that, I think, makes it more important to want to steal somebody.
yeah, that, but also the contemplation of relocation, right? and bringing somebody in. You know, we've certainly worked very hard, diligently on the utilities position out there and how to find some. I know Sol Ross is challenged a lot in bringing people, so we certainly would love to find somebody who has the city secretary skills, but if there's not a desire to move to Alpine, then we're gonna have to move on to.
They won't have the money to do a good job.
Yeah, and I don't think we want to bring somebody in and then 6 months later them say, hey, we tried it, sorry, we're going back somewhere. I think the EMC experienced that with the gentleman from Limberley. He came out here for about a year and that was it. He's gone, so.
Well, that happens at the hospital too. They come in thinking that they're going to make money and they have the equipment to be able to perform their services, and sometimes they don't even last a 2-year contract. You see it all the time.
So I mean, we do have quite a few resumes that come in. We certainly could set something up for the first. So, that's what we're doing.
I agree with that. Something we need to do. Okay, makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, a healthy discussion agenda this evening. Time to move on to the action items. We have 5 action items this evening. As always, we have the opportunity to go through the action items themselves, which is about what's going on. We'll have the opportunity for questions or comments from those who are attending this evening. And with that as background, let me go to the first item to discuss and consider approving the modifications to the City of Alpine personnel policy that we all had the opportunity to look at. Oops, this not right. That we had an opportunity to look at. So, Eric, what else would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I think this has been kind of work in progress for us. Molly has worked intently on this, Megan, several others. We certainly presented a draft that had the changes, the recommended changes highlighted so you could easily pick them out. A lot of thought went into them, and council's pleasure, we'd like to approve those and put them in motion. Personnel policy. We did send out a late update last week just in relation to travel policy to try to gain some more clarity there and make sure we're in alignment with the IRS as well on how we handle less than 24-hour trips versus over 100 hours.
So, as you recall, it's a 118-page document. We all got a copy at the last meeting. It was wonderful weekend reading for everyone.
I did it at 3 o'clock in the morning.
There you go. And the library wasn't open.
And it was
Would someone like to make a motion relative to the personnel policy?
I move that we approve the modifications to the City of Alpine personnel policy.
So we have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second.
So, thank you. There's a second. Let's see. So, any comments from the audience relative to the personnel policy before council take action? Seeing none, any further discussion we'd like to have? All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying nay. That passes unanimously. Thanks very much. Okay, next item on the agenda is discuss and consider the first reading of the conditional use fee ordinance, which is in our handouts. And it's Mr. Zimmer. Can you walk through that for us, please?
Yes. We previously had updated the ordinance. One of the items in there was setting the fee on the conditional use permit. And one of the things that Robert, Molly, and I had spoken about was, what really are approximate costs associated with the conditional use permit? As a city, we make money on. It's not something that we want to lose money on. So went back and looked at really mailing and administrative functions are the primary 2 drivers. Sometimes we're only mailing out to a handful of people. Other times we've got 25, 30 people. And then the administrative functions, think of that mostly as the time that Robert Polanco or Molly Taylor would spend. So generally, is it 3 or 4 hours? And then miscellaneous average is kind of covered there. So we came up with the $350 fee. So this item would basically be the first reading of that to update that ordinance, and we would come back with the public hearing second reading.
Great. Eric, thanks very much. So it's the implementation in planning and zoning sections 20 and 21 that we passed before. is now talking about the dollars. Eric says it's break even. Is there a motion to, for the first reading of this ordinance?
So we approve the ordinance.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the first reading of the conditional use fee permit ordinance 2016-10-03. Is there a second?
I'll second.
So we have a second on the table. Is there any comments from those in attendance with regard to the conditional fee use permit? Seeing none, any discussion amongst council? Okay, all in favor of the first reading of the conditional use permit fee for the ordinance 2016-10-3, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. Passes unanimously. On to number 10, discuss and consider the commission and the board ordinance updates. As you recall, at the last meeting, we put a resolution together that I sponsored with Eric. We talked about getting some alignments on our commissions and boards. What Eric and Molly did, as you see in your handout, is to go put together a single ordinance aimed at getting everything lined up. And a copy of that is in your package. It's ordinance 2016-10-2. Eric, any additional comments you'd like to make?
No, sir.
Okay, so hearing that, is there someone who'd like to propose that ordinance?
I move that we consider the commission and board ordinance updates.
Okay, very good. And is there a second to that? And we have a second here. Any comments from anyone in the audience with regard to the updates that we proposed? Again, we talked about it at the last meeting. This is the implementation of that. Seeing none, any further discussion amongst the council? All in favor of updating the commission board ordinance, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. It passes unanimously. Item number 11, discuss and consider approving the second final reading of ordinance 2016-10-01, the planning and zoning's recommendation for the zoning change for the Alta Vista apartments located at 2100 North Highway 118 in Alpine, from an R1 to an R3. We've talked about this before, so this is the second reading. Would someone like to propose this change? It's a long one, Cynthia. So
I know, I guess I'm going to do it.
Yes.
I move that we approve the second and final reading of the ordinance 2016-10-01 for the commission recommendation for zoning changes for Alta Vista apartments located at 2100 North Highway 118 in Alpine, from an R1 to an R3.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. As a reminder to everyone, this was represented by Johnny Carpenter, who represented the individual, and with the planning and zoning. Thank you, Carl, for the work that you and PZ did to rectify something that was done a long time ago to get the proper zoning for the Alta Vista apartments from an R1 to an R3. Would anyone else would like to make any additional comments? Seeing no one, any additional comments amongst council? I'm sorry, Carl. Yes, sir. Good forward. And as always, state your name, which ward.
Call for the Ward 5. The only comment I have is that along with that request was a return or refund of the TGI name.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And that would be included as part of this. Thank you very much, Carl. So we've got that input. Any additional questions, comments?
Do we need to amend the motion to approve the return of the fee?
I'll return to our,
We passed that.
we passed that as a resolution before. This is just the zone. Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. It passes unanimously. We are now at the point, because we're getting ready to go into executive session, for any council member comments that they would like to make prior to going into executive session. Thank you.
So as always, I would like to thank everyone for attending the meeting tonight, and I'd like to thank Mike for his report and the excellent job that he is doing, since I can speak from personal experience with that. And I also appreciate the reports you got from the visitor center. Unfortunately, she's flashed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike, for your service.
I too would like to thank Mike and the chamber for their reports. They were good. I think we've got to lot to do with that. And Eric, thank you. Molly, the staff, for everything and,
I think that all of the reports are very good. It shows that we're moving in the right direction. I think we've got a great team going here. City manager, good council members, we've got great directors. And I think it's turned around real well, and we're moving forward. Let's just keep up the good work. And congratulations to everybody that's contributing to this effort.
I agree with what Cynthia was saying about working as a team. That's very important. Not only for the council, but even for the city staff. Us being there. That's
Great, thanks very much. And thanks everyone for the hard work going on. I particularly like the report outs. Lots of numbers, facts, and data, putting context about what it means is what's helpful for us, I think, on council. But there's some great comments made, and Mike, your comment about the ICD-10. I happened to serve 10 years ago. I was appointed by the Secretary of Health and Education to serve on the ICD-10 committee. I actually resigned because my recommendation was they not go do it. It got canceled for 3 years, and I got brought back again, which is too bad. So anyway, we're kind of stuck with the point of the officers. That's the challenge.
And just one more thing before we do leave. If we need anything to address to legislation, we need to do it now. So if you want to turn anything in that we can move forward to them, because they will go into session first of the year.
Yeah, I'm at that's good. This here, what the TML is, the resolutions that were approved by TML, that's what they're going to fight for. And that may be some real good input for some people to take a look. I mean, it's interesting reading, but not much of a plot. But you know, it's got a lot of information in there for you.
So with that, thank you very much. I would propose that pursuant to Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Section 55.1.071, consultation with attorney, 55.1.074, personal matters, that the City Council will go into executive session. Is there a second to that? Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll now go into executive session, and we'll take a one function break. That allows for the biological process that will be